some questions though from when I watched it. So I think it's a pretty generic type of show.
Okay.
But it's a good watch. So everybody definitely go on to BET International. It's on their YouTube page.
Who's in it?
You know what? There's so many influencers in it. It's probably, what would you say, AK? They're maybe like 10, 15 years younger than us.
Yeah,
20s,
it's the
30s.
God, I actually have the press release. The creator of it, basically her whole thing is that she really wanted to get into the nitty gritty of speaking about dating in this generation. I think they're in their like late 20s, early 30s. I definitely know there's Christine from who's in the conversation, Vamp PR, and I will get the rest of the names as soon as whilst Nana is explaining the story.
So for the guys, there's the whole cast of the 90s Babies podcast.
Okay.
And then there's another kind of male podcasting team that's in there as well. Mm-hmm. And it's really, they're all being questioned and asked about their dating histories. What I found quite interesting, so 2 episodes are out so far. Episode 1 was the female influencers and podcasters, and they're answering questions. Mm-hmm. Most of them were single. Episode 2 is the guys. Most of them are in relationships. And it just seemed very indicative to my sights on society. And I just know so many single women as opposed to single men. There's so few of them that I know. It just seemed to be reflected in that. But I'm hoping there's going to be 8 episodes. I'm hoping she delves into that as well as to why there seems to be this gap between the two. But it's an interesting one.
I think she's named Tanya Mack. She's the host or the presenter.
I wanted to pull out a couple of bits from today's uploaded episode today, because it's the guys, and they had a few pieces of advice for women. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this and what you think about it. One man said that dating is a man's game because the bar is so low in women's estimation of men. Like, they'll say things like men are trash. If you are a little bit sane, you easily get put in the top 20% of men. What do you guys feel about that? Is the dating bar, is it generally you go into something and it's like men are shit, and if they can talk a little bit, have a little bit going for them, do they instantly go up quite a few notches?
I think generally that's been the case. I don't know about individually and personally, but I don't think I've ever consciously been like, oh, he brushes his teeth and he's eloquent, so you know what? He gets a gold star just because it's so wild out there. I haven't compromised in that way, but it's definitely, I think in my dating history, I've forgiven flaws and probably red flags because some of the better stuff outweighs it a little bit. And in hindsight, at this space that I am in my life today, the red flags would have been prominent, and I would never put them behind the fluffy stuff. And usually that stuff is around attraction and lust and that type of thing, rather than actual, is this person really a guy good for me? So I definitely think I've forgiven things, but is it because the bar's low? Yeah,
I think I'm inclined to agree. I think the bar is so low that what is basic is seen as, my God, he's such a good man. No, he's just a normal human being, and this is how they're supposed to act. I always say and I'm definitely not like, I like men in general, but I just think a lot of them are just not good people. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're just not good people in general. Like, they don't treat the people the heterosexual ones don't treat women. That's the thing. They're just not good people to women. And I'm not saying there's not good men out there. There are, but not mediocre either. There's just, oh mate, it's just a lot. I just think it's a bit dire, really. And I'm trying to think of an example of something like really basic.
If he calls you back, if he takes you out, like the basic, the normal.
Like, you have to be like, it's like you're expected to be like excited over grateful. Like, grateful. Yes, it's grateful, isn't it? Like, at least he's only got one child and he called you back, like, or at least he works, or at least
At least he doesn't beat you every
at least
day.
he's not trying to sell CDs or be a rapper. Like, it's just basic, like, just basic.
The other piece of advice that was given to ladies was, you need to not be so picky and chill out on your requirements.
The thing is, I think we've talked about this before. Sometimes, yes, the list can be long, but because women have been faced with so much nonsense, the list is long. And then it sounds like a petty list of like unachievable achievements, but it's just like
it's long because there's basic stuff on the list, because
there's basic stuff I'm trying to say.
Like, is nurse kindness should be standard. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, now we have to specify, tells the truth.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't want to. Yeah, it's and that's where you have the people like Kevin Samuels thriving on telling women being rude about their requirements and shutting them down and making them feel like, how dare you aspire for a guy who's a 10 and you're a 6. And it's all that type of shit. It's really bad. But I do think, yes, that also that they mentioned the social media brainwashing of generations is real. No matter how much we feel we're not susceptible to it, we are. So I should say. However, that kind of surface, oh, I'm a man that can do this, like I want a man that can do that. That's a very small pocket of women, I think, that actually believe in that. The average common sense woman isn't talking about Birkins and Beamers and ballers. The average woman just wants, as Auntie Sade said, a man not to lie, not to lead with his dick, and not to disrespect me, not to just ask about my day, all that type of stuff. Just simple, normal things, and not have to worry. Because I think in the women's episode, when they were asked how we just describe dating, they were like chaotic, pilgrimage, all these words.
The
like
words were deep, complicated,
and
chaos.
young, man.
And it's like, you can't, and chaotic. Like, why? Because you're dating someone.
Okay, so how would you two describe dating? What word would you use?
Chaotic, ghetto, journey, pilgrimage. I'm not dating that like that. I do you know what? I was inspired by a few people for some reason, dating apps have come up in the conversation. So there's a few people that have been inspiring me. So I ain't gonna lie, I downloaded it last night.
Oh, is it? I'm so excited. No. I know. I try and hold it back, but I can't help it.
Because this will make me delete it. Because
I know. Is it?
No, listen. No, but in my moment of download, I was like, do I want to go into this mess? Am I in the mood? I've got shit going on in my business world. I've got shit to do, and I don't. And again, I've never been that woman. Like, I've got to get a job. I'm an independent woman. I'm not that type of woman. I am an independent woman. But my thing is, my business is causing me stress. So I don't need the added stress of meeting someone. We fall in what I think is love. And next minute, like I always reference, the last significant person had a whole family and telling me that he loved me. Why do I need to put myself with that? Yes, I'd like to have a regular partner that I can feed off of, live off of, enjoy off of, all that off of, and life off of. However, I would rather be single and have that emotional button not stressed out than dealing with things. So I'm going to take a foray into that space, but I'm going to be very mindful. So I don't even know what the question was. Yes, it's chaos.
The question was what word?
Auntie Sade.
Okay, so I think it's the ghetto. I definitely think it's ghetto. And it's not on brand for me. And I have an example. I have a quick example to say, okay, so this is dating. So you can't just ask a guy, if you're heterosexual, like, do you have a girlfriend? You have to ask them, is there anyone out there, whether you knowingly know, that thinks that you are their man? That's what you have to ask. To cover all bases. That is dating at the moment. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just so complicated. Like, personally, I just don't have the time, patience, energy for it. really. I admire people who are still interested and still trying to push forward and still believe in this idea of love. I really don't anymore. Like,
So
I've just
you're
had,
more on the spectrum of, okay, if I don't meet anybody in this lifetime, it's cool.
I would say I'm kind of, yeah, I'm in that space. Because the thing is, I think that life is, I've lived, I really have. And it's just, I just think I've had like really, really significant moments. And I don't think, I think that people don't necessarily value those things unless they have this almost media constructed version of love. Then they feel like, oh, their lives are not adequate. They haven't met that goal, or they tick that box of whether that's having, like, being in a relationship for 20 years, or whether it's just getting married. And until they tick those kind of boxes in that sense, it's almost like they're trashing everything that they've had before. And it's just, no, actually, you have to see moments for what they are and be, I don't know, there's something about being present in there and really enjoying it and knowing that they don't always last forever, and that's okay. That's actually okay. And I think a lot of people, probably more males than females, I'm going to say that specifically in the heterosexual world, need to like work on being by themselves, like actually being by themselves, actually understanding, do you like you? Because if you don't like you, yeah, there is no way you should be asking anyone else to like you. You shouldn't be pressuring anyone at all to like you at
I
all.
think that's fair. I think it's fair. I think it's two different things, though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'm not
it's
saying it's
that like holistic thing of, okay, I am totally okay with, but you're probably going to be here for another 60 years in our lifespans. For how long they say our generation is probably going to live, it's like our average is probably going to be 90 to 100 years. So that's a long time to be like, actually, I could do this without a companion. But I'm sure there are loads of people that would be like, actually, I'll be fine with family and friends. Like, I don't need that significant other. That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting from you. That's why I was asking. Like, are you like more on that thing of, oh, if the person never comes, they don't come, it's cool?
I
Or are
don't know.
you still more like,
I don't know if I've finalized that. I'm just living my life. But what I'm not going to do is engage in ghetto behavior. And the dating scene right now is ghetto. This is the thing. It's just when you like go home to family and stuff, and like you get loads of pressure from even older than us, like uncles and aunties, like where's our relationships and all this kind of stuff. It's just, have you seen what's out there? Have you seen what they want us to settle for? It's just too much. It's too much. I don't like it.
yeah, what about you? What do you think?
It's interesting because, like I said, in downloading the app, I was like, do I really want to go into this? And I'm one of those people that feel like I haven't achieved that not perfect, or a significant relationship that I can feel like, yeah, that was a good one. And even though it didn't last, or it did last, whatever, but if it didn't last, it was worth it. And there was really great memories. I think when I had my daughter, I was literally focused on her. I was insecure at 23, and then having a daughter and having to deal with being a single mum and figuring out a career and education, all that type of stuff. I got very focused on trying to do that. And I hadn't, there's another level of understanding who you are when you've got a child to look after as well. And so I made silly decisions when it came to guys, where maybe if it was by myself, I would have been a lot more self-realized and would have made better decisions. But whilst trying to do it with the child, and also being very conscious that I didn't want any man around my child unless they were significant. So a lot of relations were in the dark, in quotes. And so maybe I accepted things just for the sake of it. So I don't know. I've always been like, I've not had that significant relationship that I really feel was worth it. So I've always been like, yeah, I need to have that relationship. But like I said, downloading the app, I felt like, do I want this? And actually, do I actually want a man in my life at the moment? I don't think I do. The only thing that makes me feel like I wouldn't say never ever is because there's a reality. I think I referenced my mum before. Her and her friends who are single, there's a loneliness around them, which, as much as they're on the phone with each other, and then we had COVID and stuff, that was a deeper separation, and the ailments and things that plague them, where they got hit, knee, back, this, that. So traveling isn't as easy, and getting together isn't as easy, when you can't rely on your friendship circle, especially because for whatever reason, and you have done to death yourself, like you know yourself and you're bored of yourself essentially, and you've got all those creature comforts that, and the thing that's missing is possibly someone else that you can be that close and intimate, that's in your space with you, enjoying the last years of your life. That's the part that makes me concerned. When I get to that point,